So today in this video, I want to share with you guys why I don't care about code as much as I used to anymore and why you shouldn't as well. But funny enough, I have to get my PR merged in, so gonna make some coffee to get the day started. Okay, so before I share why I don't think code matters too much, I'll first have to share my relationship with code so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Like many other stories that you probably heard before from others, I took my first programming class in high school. I was a gamer at the time, so sitting in front of a computer during class sounds pretty great, to be honest. And over time during my high school career, I learned how to code, but I definitely wasn't the best. I remember my classmates and I would just simply copy each other's code in the computer lab and put our name on it and just turn it in. And it really did seem like a collaborative classroom, and my teacher really didn't care too much about plagiarism at that time. I did understand some coding concepts at the time, but I wasn't really good at them. But fast forward, I chose computer science as my major in college, and I knew I really wanted to become a better programmer. I personally wanted to get to that level where I can build applications, really debug issues and fix bugs, but I knew that it was going to be a big stretch for me to get to that point. And so what I did to get to that level the last 2 years of college, I don't recommend anyone doing this, but I really dove deep into what makes good code and really become that, next level engineer for myself. But I think where I went wrong was that I got so into the concept of becoming a better engineer to the point where I was reading books and taking notes on what good code looks like. So I was studying and taking notes on code so much to the point where when it came down to writing code, I was afraid of making mistakes. And I think that really prevented me from really growing as an engineer. I feel like I was too concerned about how my code looks like, whether or not the variables are named correctly, if the method names make sense, whether it should be in one class over another. And so I was really caught up in all of that early in my career. So if you're in college right now, I definitely recommend to not do what I did in my last 2 years of college. Definitely enjoy your time in college because those are definitely more formative years. But anyways, I hope that sets the stage of where I'm coming from. I got to get some more work done, but later I'll share the reasons why I don't care too much about code anymore. It's crazy to see that Lunar is up almost 18% today. I know I don't talk about finance in my videos, but maybe in the future I can share with you guys more of what I do to budget and handle my finances. So in my last video, I actually mentioned that I had a hunch that more work was going to be on my plate. And this morning I found out that that was correct. But hopefully it's something more manageable, but only time will tell. But as I was mentioning before, the main reason why I don't care too much about coding anymore is because the code is going to change anyways. So most of the code that I've seen so far as a software engineer for the past 3 years has been either deleted, refactored, or rewritten. And it's not because it's not needed, but more that it's being updated. And there have been many times that I spent hours just making sure the code that I write is easy to follow and is intuitive, but later a teammate may, change it or move it or even delete it because of how the business requirements may change. But anyways, I had to learn the hard way that perfectionism kills productivity. And honestly, I think it's a balance on how you write code. You definitely don't want to write code that's not easy to follow or is, just not functioning correctly. But at the same time, you do want to get stuff done. That's a hard lesson that I had to learn. And I just want to mention that knowing this now in my career, I'm not afraid of making mistakes or failing. I just have to remind myself that everything that I'm doing is part of like an iterative process. And so just slowly trying to get better and better each time. Okay, I'm done ranting. Just gonna start my lunch break now. So I went down a rabbit hole last weekend after watching a video by Oliver Cao. I don't know too much about him, but I do know that he makes pretty good videos, and I was watching one of his videos that really stuck with me because of how good the editing was and how it was shot. I found out that it was shot using the Canon PowerShot V1, which is basically like a small point and shoot camera compared to the one that I have now. I have the ZV-E1, and attached to that is a pretty big lens, and I find that makes it pretty hard for me to make content because that lens is just so big and it prevents me from capturing the moment because of how not portable it is. So for example, it's almost the size as this one here. This is the Tamron 28-75mm G2. But what I'm trying to say is that making videos like this, I always have to be aware of my gear and how big the lens is. It's kind of embarrassing to take out this camera with a lens sticking out of it compared to like a small point and shoot camera. And so what I did last weekend was watch a ton of review videos on the camera that he was using, and I figured that it was a good balance between portability and the quality that you get in a video camera like this. And for vlogs like these, I think having that camera is a better alternative and strikes a balance between like portability and quality as well. After watching more videos on YouTube, I realized other creators just film their videos off their iPhone. And so that just goes to show how important portability is to capture the moment. Maybe in the future, I'll get the Canon V1. Canon, if you're listening, please sponsor me. I would love to get my hands on the Canon V1. But anyways, just gonna get some more work done. And by the way, I also stocked up on my snacks area here. I have some Fairlife, some Quest chips, Quest protein bars, some protein cinnamon rolls, and then down here, some Spindrifts. So just gonna get another walking session before I end the night. For the rest of the evening, I'm gonna spend some time enhancing my YouTube upload app. There are just a few bugs and some error handling that I wanna do, but besides that, I think everything should be good to go. I might change the structure of the file that it takes in so that it can support more videos. But yeah, stay tuned for the next few videos. It's going to be a lot more different than what I'm doing now. So pretty excited to share more of what it's going to be like, but stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.